Do you feel like you don't have enough experience to use your voice? Have you ever thought, let me learn more, let me study more, let me reach there before I contribute my ideas, before I can give people advice? Well, if you have ever felt this way, this is for you. Your voice has so much power, even more than you realize. And in this episode of Own Your Voice Weekly, you'll learn just how much power your voice truly has, and you'll take away 3 simple but powerful tips to unleash the true power of your voice. About a year ago, I had a client that called me at about 10 p.m. at night, and she was just frazzled. She was saying, "Oh my gosh, Ray, I have this big presentation tomorrow. In fact, this is probably the biggest presentation I'll ever do in my life, and I haven't finished my slides. I have the tech stuff to do, and I'm also part of the organizing committee." And she was like stressed. She's the head of research of the International Coaching Federation, and they're going to be presenting the key findings of a research that's the accumulation of years of hard work. And she'll be presenting this research to C-suites, head of HRs, coaches, and so the pressure is really on. So I shared with her, hey, you are the head of research of the International Coaching Federation. You pioneered this research. All the content is in your head. You literally led this research. All the content is in your head. So you know what to say. All you need to do is to come up with the backbone of the presentation, spend some time to put the key findings within the backbone to make it into a nice 25-minute presentation. That's it. You got it. And you know what? We can work together to come up with this backbone of the presentation, and we can work together to rehearse and to practice it days before the presentation. And so after hearing that, she's like, okay, I have a clear idea of what to do. So she felt so much more calm. On the day itself, we were supposed to be rehearsing it together. And as I went to the location, the venue, which is at her place, 2 hours in advance, I walked into a room and she came to me and she was in her pajamas. Her hair was in a mess. She's no makeup on. I don't think she even brushed her teeth. And she was frantic. She was saying, "Oh my goodness, Ray, I didn't even manage to practice anything because there was some issues with the tech. The emails are not sent out. Oh my goodness." And oh my gosh, she was so stressed and she was so panicky. And I just came in. I'm like, okay, we have 2 more hours till the event starts. Let's just figure it out together. We'll spend the next 30 to 45 minutes to deal with the tech part, and then we can get you ready, we can get the presentation rehearsed, and we're going to be able to do this. Thankfully, everything went well. The audience loved her presentation. They were just flooding the comment section on Zoom with like, good job, you got this. Like, honestly, just so many good comments. And as we were celebrating outside the balcony after the event with wine and with cheese, she shared with me, "Ray, I don't know what I'll do without you. I was so stressed and panicky, and you came in with this calm energy, and I believe this is your natural gift. You have the ability to make people feel calm, to feel confident, to feel like they can do it." And she's the head of the International Coaching Federation, and she also runs her own coaching school. Back then I've only just started my coaching business. But that doesn't matter at that point. Titles aside, when she needed that calm presence, I managed to give it to her. And the reality is all of us have it. You and I, we have the ability to leave people better with our voice, with our presence. Our voice has the power to affirm, to encourage. Your voice is so powerful to change someone's emotions in a matter of seconds. So I want you to think back. Okay, you can take out like a notebook, right? Or you can just take out your online notebook, a notepad. I want you to think back on the most recent time you used your voice and someone thanked you for it. It could be at a presentation, or it could be posting some content on social media and someone left a comment. Someone came up to you and said, "Wow, you really gave me a lot of perspective. I've never seen it that way." Or it could be simply being there for a friend when he or she is feeling really down. And then after that, he or she texted you and said, "Hey, thanks so much for being there for me." The first step to using your voice powerfully is to know that your voice has power. So I want you to really list down evidence of that. For me, I will actually screenshot comments from my clients, testimonials from my clients, comments from my audience on Instagram, really good comments, really sweet comments, and I will screenshot it and I'll actually save it in a little folder in my phone. And whenever I feel that wave of self-doubt come, which it does, sometimes happens, I will go back to that folder and take a look at all the things that people have said about me and what I've shared online, and that really would remind me of the power of my voice. Now, since we now know that you have power in your voice and that your voice is powerful, your voice has impacted, that your voice has power, we can go straight to the 3 tips. I want to share 3 ways to fully unleash the power of your voice. Are you ready? So, tip number 1. Ask yourself, what do I want people to think, feel, and do when I speak? Do you want them to feel uplifted, empowered, motivated to take action, feel like they aren't alone? This is very important because how you want people to think, feel, and do will frame the way that you speak up and show up, from the way you dress and express to your tone of voice and your demeanor. And this may vary for different settings and different audiences. In the boardroom, in a meeting, I'll use my more firm voice. For example, I had a recent meeting with a serial entrepreneur and a philanthropist. I want him to think that this girl knows what she's talking about. This girl is an expert, right? For some context, I'm helping him actually frame his stories, his wealth of experience into social media content and posts. And so I want him to see me as the expert of storytelling, as the expert of communicating his story and his true value online. So I want him to think, hey, Ray is an expert. I want him to feel reassured and confident of my expertise. And I want him to, under the do section, what do I want him to do? I want him to listen to me. I want him to take what I say seriously and consider how to incorporate what I share into his plan. In a one-on-one coffee session, whether I'm meeting someone for the first time, is different. I want them to think, wow, Ray is really listening to me. She's really interested in me. I want them to feel comfortable. I want them to enjoy the conversation. I want them to feel important. When I'm speaking on social media, just as I am right now, I want my audience to think, wow, Ray, it's as if Ray is reading my mind. She knows exactly what I'm feeling. She gets me. She knows what she's talking about. I also want my audience to think, hey, she's really good at this. She's really an expert in speaking and communication. I want them to feel like they're not alone, that someone understands. I want them to feel a sense of like a renewed hope and excitement to use their voice. And what do I want them to do? I want them to take action. I want them to use their voice with renewed confidence. And sometimes when I'm sharing my offers online, I want them to join my Own Your Voice coaching program. So the first major tip is to ask yourself, how do you want your audience to think, feel, and do when you speak? Because this will frame the way you speak up and show up in various settings and stages. The second way to unleash the power of your voice is to allow your voice to match the outcome you want. As I mentioned in the first tip, in the boardroom, I want the person to think of me as an expert, to feel confident and reassured of my expertise. So in the boardroom, I'm going to use my firm voice, right? My firm voice. So for example, I recently had a client meeting with a serial entrepreneur and a philanthropist, and this is someone with years of experience. He's also like more than 2 times older than me. So it's so important for me to use my firm and grounded voice so that they will feel assured and confident of my expertise. In fact, in that recent meeting, this client, he was like talking on and on and on, and he was actually really steering off agenda. So I knew that I needed to do something or else this meeting is going to go nowhere. So I came in when he was breathing and there was a pause, and I used my firm voice. I looked him straight in the eye and I affirmed what he said and steered it back to agenda. This is my firm voice right now. It's very different from the voice that I'm using when I'm generally on this podcast, a little bit more reassuring, gentle, light-hearted, is different from my firm voice. My firm voice uses a more low tone of voice, and I'm faster in the way I speak. The pace is increased, and it hits harder. That's the difference between a firm voice and the other voices within myself. In fact, during the meeting, I had to use a firm voice and come in when he was talking too much and talking about something off topic. I had to do it 2 to 3 times until he would finally stop talking and listen to me when I spoke again. And at the end of the meeting, the media partner that I came with actually told me that the client was very impressed by me. So it's important to use the right tone of voice to reflect the outcome that you want. When I'm sharing an encouraging message, like right now, whether it's in a one-on-one conversation or on social media, I will use my more gentle, reassuring voice. This is my gentle, my reassuring voice. Also, when I'm sharing a story and the story is a little bit more sensitive, it requires me to tap into my emotions and share that vulnerable part of me that I haven't shared before. I'll allow my voice to soften, to quiver a little bit, to slow down, as if I'm holding back tears. That is how I use my voice to create the setting of vulnerability, of authenticity, of safety, so that my audience will feel what I want them to feel, which is, hey, I understand you. What you're feeling is normal. You are not going through this alone. When I'm having a light-hearted conversation, I will have a little bit more of a Singlish accent, right? Because as you guys know, or you might not, I'm from Singapore, so I do have a Singlish accent sometimes. And I will use my more casual, light-hearted tone. This is how I'll speak. Hey, how are you? You'll see my Singlish accent come up once in a while. I also laugh a little bit more. So I'll have this light-hearted, casual energy. And the reason why I do that is I want the person to feel comfortable. I want them to feel like they don't have to put up any front. They can just be themselves. So once again, the second way to unleash the true power of your voice is to allow your tone of voice to match the outcome that you want. A more firm voice in the boardroom, a more gentle, reassuring voice when you're comforting someone, and a more light-hearted, casual voice when you are having a normal, casual conversation. And there are a lot more voices within you. I'm just covering 3 of them. There's the more motivating voice, like, you can do it, you got this, I want you to stand up, I want you to speak up. There are different voices within you that you can explore. And last but not least, number 3, the third way to truly unleash the power of your voice is to protect, grow, and nourish your mind. This is so important. Oh, gosh, can't even say how important this is. Because what you say and how you say it is very much influenced by the information you consume and how you feel. So point A, 3A, protect your mind. Stay away from gossip. Stay away from negative energy. Stay away from people talking behind people's back. Because if you allow yourself to be in the place of gossip and you engage in gossip, or if you're even in the environment of gossip, you might subconsciously start gossiping about people too. What you consume will become what you create. The more you listen to all this gossip stuff, the more you're going to do it subconsciously. 3B, grow your mind. You want to read, listen to podcasts, grow your knowledge and your perspective. In order to use the full power of your voice, you need to have something to say. You need to have some substance. A mentor actually advised me, don't be a speaker, be an expert. What he really means is you don't want to be a speaker without substance. When you have an opinion, you'll be memorable in the boardroom. When you have a unique point of view, you'll be memorable in those social situations, in those networking events. If you're neutral about everything, you're just not the best person to share because you have no insights at all. One way to grow your mind is to get curious after conversations. When people share their problems with you, actually think about it, research about it, read about it, and see how you can help them. If let's say a friend of yours comes and say, hey, I don't know how I can negotiate my pay with my boss. Well, you may not know, but you could actually go and Google and find out. There's so many content online. You can head to my Instagram and find out. I'm pretty sure I created a piece of content on negotiation and having tough conversations before. But basically, you can go and research about it. That's how you grow your mind and learn so that you can share those information with your friend who asked you that question. In the past, before I started coaching people, many people would share with me, Ray, I have a fear of speaking. I don't know how to overcome it. I get anxious, I get nervous, I blank out. And all I could do is just encourage them and say, you got this, you really know what you're doing, you got this. I can be there to encourage them this way, but I can never really truly help them because I don't have the skills or knowledge to help them. But when I truly went back to research the science behind the fear of speaking, now I know where it originates from. Now I know how our body reacts to that fear response. Now I know what it means to have the fear, fight, or flight. The fight, flight, or freeze response. I'm so sorry about that. Now I know what it means to have the fight, flight, or freeze response when you perceive something as a threat. And that's why our body goes into overdrive and we start feeling nervous, anxious, our palms get sweaty, our heart beats fast because we perceive public speaking as an unsurmountable fear. Now I know how the fear of speaking originates from. Before I can go back and think, hey, how do I solve this? How do I help myself for my fear of speaking back then? And that is where I started learning more, experimenting more, and now ultimately coaching people, not just to overcome their fear of speaking, but in recent times also helping entrepreneurs, helping corporate professionals communicate their true value through storytelling, through content, through branding strategies, so that they're able to attract the opportunities that they deserve, so they're able to attract the clients that they're meant to serve. So remember, it's so important to grow your mind so that you can unleash the power of your voice. And 3C would be to nourish your mind. If you're someone that gets, at this point in time, easily affected by challenges, failures, rejections, you'll be in a constant state of survival. You'll be dealing with your own worries. And when you're so occupied with how to help yourself, it is very hard to be truly present for others and to help others. You have to fill your own cup before you can fill the cup of others. So do your inner work, get coached, okay? Find your own nourishing your mind practice, whether it is having non-negotiable times where you walk in nature or you sing or you draw or you paint, whether it's having a morning routine, journaling, penning down your thoughts, whether it's having some sort of structured routine. Whenever you meet with some sort of rejection, you have this little list of things that you would do, like talk to your coach, first hire a coach, talk to a coach, list it down, coach yourself. You need to find a way to nourish your mind so that you're at a state of peace and calm, and you'll be able to be fully present for the people that you're interacting with. So in summary, remember that your voice has power. List down all the evidence in the past that shows you that your voice has power, whether it's things that people have said to you, compliments, words of gratitude. And then the 3 ways to unleash the full power of your voice is: number 1, ask yourself, what do I want people to think, feel, and do when I speak? Number 2, allow your voice to match the outcome you want. In the boardroom, you can use your firm voice. When you're giving an encouraging message, you can use your more reassuring voice, or even sharing a story, a more vulnerable voice. When you're having a lighthearted conversation, you can have a more lighthearted and casual voice with a little bit of laugh. And number 3, protect, grow, and nourish your mind. Protect your mind by staying away from gossip. Grow your mind by constantly learning and researching and studying. And nourish your mind by getting coached, coaching yourself, and doing the inner work so that you have space to be there and be present for others. Remember, your voice, your presence already has an impact on others. If you come into a room feeling small, sad, negative, whining all the time, your energy will rub off on people. So since your voice and presence already has an impact, might as well work on making it a good impact. So use these 3 tips that I've shared, and you're on your way to unleashing the full power of your voice. I hope this has been really helpful for you in growing your voice and owning your voice. If you find that this is helpful, take action on it, right? I think that one of the best ways to actually learn is to actually summarize your learnings and share it with someone so that you're accountable to someone else. What you can do is to do it right now. Share it in the comments down below. What is your one biggest takeaway and one action step that you want to do after today? Next, you can actually share this with your friends or share it on social media. And the third thing is go there, own your voice, own your power, and use the true power of your voice. And I'll see you next time on Own Your Voice Weekly. Bye!